Welcome back to your video. In today's video, we're going to be playing City Skylines. In today's video, we're going to be doing a speed build. But so immediately, I bought the last two tiles to completely buy the lake, and then I expanded out the lake to add in some rivers that go off, and then you'll see how we utilize them. Mostly utilize this first one I'm building here, but I end up making two, and this other one goes towards some hills, so it kind of just ends up making it to where I want to try to make it semi-realistic how the rivers would flow. So I made this one fairly not wide, but I made it also quite windy, and the water goes through pretty fast. But because of it going into the hill, I made it to where there's like a fairly not a big lake, but a small little lake there, just because I believe that's kind of how water would end up working in real life if there was a hill towards the end of the river, is that any rainfall would then flow into where the river is already made, or go into where the lake is, and then it would be just where a natural dip would be from water eroding the dirt. And then I made a bridge crossing it, and then I plan on making the bridges crossing the rivers like that to where they aren't there's not a whole lot of them, but the ones that it'll be like one every other block, or like one every few blocks, just because we won't need a whole lot, especially with public transport and all that. And I mean, while the lake and the rivers might be centerpieces of our city, they obviously aren't going to be the main thing, just because the lake and the rivers in the grand scheme of things aren't too big. So I mean, they obviously can't do exactly an insane amount in terms of stuff. I mean, they do raise land value, but I mean, we are going to need to be having a whole load of like capacity on the bridge, especially if we do a whole load. So that's why there ain't going to be a whole load of people. And also, if we can keep it to where trucks aren't going over the bridges, need to go over them a whole lot. So this way we can minimize traffic, obviously. So this way less traffic means less capacity on the roads. But obviously that allows us to then have these smaller bridges, but have quite a few more. But the ones that I did build in this original build, I did make them fairly nice, which I mean the first one isn't really, but this one is. And then this road I'm putting behind these Japanese unique buildings, I just put it in as a little service road, and then just to fill in that gap between the one and the road, I just put it in a little path, and then put a little park in there, which I've been doing a whole lot. And then I put in a museum right there, which you can't see what I'm typing, but I made it a museum. And so it would be like some sort of Cold War bunker or something like that the town would have made in case of some sort of attack. And then they would have converted it into a museum. And so that's why I renamed it that. And, well, I mean, you could see the keyboard, but I basically just put that in, and I continued our bus route, filled this all in with houses, and then towards the end of this episode, we do end up getting the high density, which I'm going to end up changing up the density of the houses to high density, especially right in our tourist district. But right where I put in the commercial, right next to where the little park that I made, personally made that I want to make it those little tiny booth things, which I mean I do end up doing that after off camera. But I did make this area Little Japan because we're pretty much utilizing entirely a whole lot of the modern Japan deals. Got the creator pack buildings, excuse me. And I mean, it's basically entirely that. So I mean, I just made that little square of an area. Little Japan, there is obviously a few shops, but it's fine. I did put it in a public library, so this way we could hopefully increase education to get higher educated workers. And then mostly, here's where I mostly utilize this river over the other one I made. Just because this one was a bit closer to the city center, so then this way I wouldn't need to do a whole load more services. I wouldn't need to worry about a whole lot. And I did make a little park in here too. And I did end up getting rid of all the zoning here just because I really like the look of the trees. And if you're a coaster enthusiast, you may look at that X before adding in trees, and you may think about it, and it reminds you of the old X2 logo, or the X logo, and now X2 logo and the X. Just because it looks extremely similar to that. If you've ever seen the X sign for Magic Mountain, which is Six Flags Magic Mountain, but yeah. Then I kind of just went through. I fixed around some of the bridges just to make them look nicer. I did realize that there was a whole entire support structure in basically that entire path, so I just changed that out, expanded the bridge a bit more, which if I had mods I would just be able to move that over easily, but I needed to redo the entire thing basically, but it's fine. And then I started connecting over on this side, so this way we could have a full bus circuit going counterclockwise and all of that. And then this took me forever to get perfect, because I'm a perfectionist and I just could not get the right angles and everything. And I mean, it ended up becoming really annoying, but it's fine. Which I mean, also if I did have mods, I could just make it a nice smooth hill, but we don't got mods on console. Which another thing that I really want to complain about is that with City Skylines Remastered, we don't get in the new DLCs. So the sports venues, shopping malls, and all that, we don't got them on City Skylines Remastered. We have it on the older version, but not on the remastered versions. I mean, I get why they don't have the newer DLCs, but they should at least put it on the mastered versions, the brand new ones. But yeah, right here we unlocked the inner city bus station, so I just put it in a little inner city hub for transportation. But if you have enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe. And well, I mean, that'll be it from me. Do hope you enjoyed. Bye.